Did you see in the news yesterday this House resolution that has now passed the House called H.R. 1955? Did you see that?
Oh, is that the new hate crime legislation?
Well, it is that, but more. It certainly is. The hate crime bill itself was recently stifled in the Senate, but this one is a whopper. And let me just recap it for any of you who may have missed it, because it's one of those things that's literally beyond belief. The House of Representatives passed it. 404 voted for it. 6 voted against it. They call it the Thought Crime Prevention Bill in slang, but formally it is known as something. It's got one of those great names that people will look at and think, oh, gee, that's got to be good. But one of the key parts of it, and read it, I've got a whole featured story section up on it at Rense.com, and if you look at the individual parts of it, you'll find things that will literally shock you. It's called get this one, the Violent Radicalization and Homegrown Terrorism Prevention Act of 2007. The Violent Radicalization and Homegrown Terrorism Prevention Act of 2007.
Well, we don't even have foreign terrorism, much less homegrown terrorism.
Thank you. Once again, you cut right to the point. This bill, if it is passed into law, will also establish a new national commission, a bureaucracy, so-called Center of Excellence, to study and defeat so-called thought criminals. 404 idiots, morons, and traitors voted for this bill. Just for fun, Eustace, I'm going to read a little bit of this for our listeners and then get you to comment on it if we can. Violent radicalization, the term. I know where they come up with these terms. They're amazing. Violent radicalization, as defined by whom, under what subjective criteria, of course. What does that mean? Violent radicalization. According to the Congress and the H.R. 1955 legislation, it means the process of adopting or promoting an extremist belief system for the purpose of facilitating ideologically based violence to advance political, religious, or social change. Gee, I think our founding fathers would be in trouble, wouldn't they?
They really would. I wonder if any high school freshmen would understand that language.
Well, as you know, the tragedy of this country knows no bounds in terms of its plummeting descent into hell in terms of education and the competence of the schools. They've been taken over. The curriculum has been re-engineered, as you know, better than probably most anyone. It's turning out the exact kind of drones and morons that it's designed to now. So we have violent radicalization. Have you seen a time when we've heard such terminology? This is verging on sedition, of course, sedition laws. It's the same kind of concept.
Well, I don't think there ever has been any violent radicalization.
I don't know anybody who's violently radicalized by anything in the media or on the internet, to tell you the truth. And
no, it puts you to sleep before it does that.
See? Yeah. You rascal. You got the way with words. That's true. It will put you to sleep. There's so much crap out there. Misinformation, disinformation, droning on and on of egos. It's amazing. The definition of homegrown terrorism uses equally vague language. Homegrown terrorism. What's it mean? What's it mean to you, Eustace?
Well, it doesn't exist in this country.
There it is again. What the Congress says, though, the term homegrown terrorism, all right, first of all, the war on terror, the so-called war on terror that doesn't exist, Eustace. Have you ever seen a bigger fraud in your lifetime?
That is big fraud. Every time the papers print that term, the war on terror, I wonder what they're talking about.
Well, a lot of people listening would agree with you. I have no idea. don't know of a terror event I can point to in this country except the staged one at 9/11 and the one that was permitted to happen, the first bombing of the World Trade Center back in, what was it, 91, I guess, can't remember. But that was a staged event. So was the bombing of the Murrah building in Oklahoma City. It's absurd. All right, here's what the Congress says. The term homegrown terrorism means the use, planned use, or threatened use of force or violence by a group or individual who was born, raised, and operating primarily within the United States, or any possession of the United States to intimidate or coerce the United States government. What does it mean to intimidate the United States government? What does that mean?
I've never been able to do it.
That's wonderful. That's just, it can't add to that. Okay, so to intimidate the United States government, I don't know what it means either. It's so vaguely defined, it's a joke. And that's the idea, of course.
Oh, and all of these things become a joke when you start examining them and discussing them.
Okay, we're talking about homegrown terrorism, whatever the hell that means. To coerce the United States government, what does that mean?
Well, I don't know. I think anybody's ever been able to do that.
Not that either. Or to intimidate or coerce the civilian population of the United States, or any segment thereof.
Or any segment. That is even one person.
That's right. So am I intimidating or coercing anyone out there? I guess I'm guilty of being a homegrown terrorist. Intimidation, of course, meaning challenging someone in such a way that they're made to feel perplexed, insecure, confused, scared, disoriented.
It's a threat.
It's a what?
A threat.
Of course. In furtherance of political or social objectives. Now, there you go. So, what's a social objective? The prevention of
common platform.
That's right. The prevention of AIDS is a social objective. So, if I intimidate or scare someone with the idea to try to help them understand that AIDS is spread through unsafe sex practices, I guess that might be intimidating or coercing the civilian population or any segment thereof.
You're intimidating somebody when you mention he's homosexual. That intimidates everybody.
That's exactly right. Okay, so you see the lunacy, folks, very clearly, I hope. And remember, the commission that will be in charge of this, if it is passed in the Senate and signed by the village idiot, will literally weigh, I guess, imprisonment sentences for people. They'll bring federal charges and on and on.
Every time.
Here are a couple more little tidbits from H.R. 1955, Eustace. The Congress finds the following. I'm quoting from this now. Number one, the development and implementation of methods and processes that can be utilized to prevent violent radicalization, homegrown terrorism, and ideologically based violence in the United States is critical to combating domestic terrorism. Okay, that's a given. That's their premise. Number two, the promotion of violent radicalization, homegrown terrorism, and ideologically based violence exists in the United States and poses a threat to homeland security. There's a whopper. It's utter fiction, is it not? How do we approach something as absurd as this, which may indeed be the law of the land, as unconstitutional as it is, Eustace? They're talking about something that literally doesn't exist. So what do we do about it? Any comment on that, Eustace?
Oh, well, one thing that throws me for a loop is these constant appeals from Washington to the terrorists to attack our airports and our seaports and to bring dirty bombs into the country. They really are hard up to ask for all those things, because the terrorists can't provide those things on a moment's notice.
So your facetiousness knows no bounds.
Yeah.
Here's the key, and I think this is really at the very center of this piece of alleged legislation. This is short. This is crucial. I'm sure most of you have heard it or read it by now, but I'm going to read it again. Number 3. Now get this, Eustace. The Internet has aided in facilitating violent radicalization, ideologically based violence, and the homegrown terrorism process in the United States. The homegrown terrorism process in the United States.
I didn't know about the process. I haven't studied that too closely.
And get this one. Here's the slammer. The Internet has done so by providing access to broad and constant Internet streams of terrorist-related propaganda to United States citizens. Okay? So what they're saying here, obviously, and it's not veiled at all, it's utterly transparent, the Internet has aided in homegrown terrorism in the United States by providing access, by allowing you folks to visit my website, to listen to my program streaming on the Internet, as an example. That's what they're trying to put an end to right here. They're trying to make it a federal offense that if they subjectively decide that this program is somehow encouraging homegrown terrorism, it's a felony.
Oh, yes. And the government has been trying to promote teenage sex on the Internet more than anything else. And it's failed utterly miserable as far as I can understand.
Well, teenagers are having sex at the age of 9 and 10, 11 now after watching the media for so many years. We know about drugs. We know about the curriculum. They have literally gutted their second generation now. MTV was the opening gambit, and it has gone incredibly downhill ever since. So, go ahead.
Oh, I'm not really in touch with young people that much, and I don't know how far down they're going.
Well, you need binoculars if that gives you a hint. While the United States must continue its vigilant efforts to combat international terrorism, it must also strengthen efforts to combat the threat posed by homegrown terrorists based and operating within the United States. And those are people who use the Internet to stream audio programs, to bring news services to you like ours from around the world. So do you believe this is going on, Eustace? I mean, you saw it coming, but it's coming on so fast now and it's so wide open. Does it surprise you?
Well, I remember a few years ago when George Bush the first was president, and he was going on television and complaining about the terrible damage that the radio talk shows were causing the country.
That's right.
That was the thing he was most worried about.
Well, now we have it in print that it is the Internet and its streams, audio streams, and its information that are creating and promoting homegrown terrorism. It's right here in the law. So these idiots, of course, are laughably saying, of course, this will not in any way, shape, or form violate our constitutional rights, when everything in it is a violation of our constitutional rights.
They've been doing it for years.
Yeah. So I guess this kind of thing doesn't surprise one, but is it really something that you thought you'd see this quickly? Eustace? We've really been on a fast track to hell in this country.
Well, it amazes me how the state of Israel and Congressman Schumer in New York come up with these fantastic proposals to limit all freedom of speech in this country.
And where are we going to go, folks? Why are Americans not up in arms? Why, Eustace, aren't they out in the streets? Why do we have to get on the radio here and implore people to write or to phone their congressman and so forth to oppose these things? What happened? Where did the American activism go?